the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
My soul is welcome here.
My soul
is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Woo! Good job, everybody.
Right, isn't that fun?
Thank you. Each of us is born with a divine inner fire. We know it. We feel it. We are capable of claiming our great life simply by clearly stating our desires and intentions, and then moving toward the actions Spirit guides us to take. During the silent meditation, I invite you to contemplate the following. I choose to follow the inner fire that lights my way. beautiful day. Beautiful spirit. Beautiful unfoldment of this perfect day. One day rolling into the next, and I know that in it is that infinite intelligence which brings everything, bless you, brings everything into clear focus, always in the present, always powerful, all-knowing, all-loving. God is. That is all there is. Feel the God presence all around and within, knowing that today unfolds exactly as it is meant to be. There is great gratitude and thankfulness for the gathering of this community here within the sacred walls of the sanctuary of Om. I am grateful for the music. I am grateful for the technology that brings us here, including the world beyond and out, all around the world, everywhere. There is always a connection, heart, mind, soul. No one is left out. Everyone is included, all of life. And I am so thankful for the words of wisdom and the brightness of our wonderful speaker today, Reverend Angela. I am grateful for Reverend Natasha, who is here to help things just move along beautifully. I'm grateful for every being that is here, the musicians that come through and come here. This is a most sacred place, standing on holy ground. There's everything to be grateful for. Thank you, God, for all that there is. It is good and very good, and I call it good. And together we say, and so it is. Boy, have we got a treat. Okay. May I be so happy to present Lucille Park.
Well, thank you. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. And God hastes the day when the faith shall be sight. The veil be rolled back as a scroll. The trumpet shall resound, and I know the Lord is within. Yes, I know it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. Why don't you sing that with me? It is well, it is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well, it is well with my soul. It is well, all is well with my soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucille. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
And now it's my pleasure to welcome Reverend Angela Geary of the Awakened Heart Collective. Please join me in giving her a warm welcome.
Thanks so much, everyone. Good to see you all. Good to see all the Zoomers and people out there. Welcome, welcome. And let's send our healing vibrations and love to Reverend Suzette, who's recovering from hand surgery. She's on, so we turn and wave and give her love and thank her for creating this amazing community. All right. So the high and holy yes of the universe, the yes of support for that which we choose to live and for our heart's desire. That's what this center is here to do. That's what Centers for Spiritual Living and spiritual communities do. They help us to say yes, to step into our sacred audacity, to really claim who we truly are, to stand in that, to breathe through or pummel through or stretch through anything that would limit and constrict us. So we are the center of divine operation. I love that. We are the center of divine operation. We're here. We're here to remember that the universe conspires to support us, that there is a power for good, that there is a power for love and compassion, and that all it wants is that for us. Now, sometimes we may go through stuff that feels anything like that, right? I remember Reverend Kathy Hearn used to say, there's an ow in growth. There's an ow in growth. And the truth is, if we're going to claim our spiritual audacity, if we're going to, and we are, whether we're moving so fast right now into the light, into the luminosity that we're born to be, we have to sometimes, and really all the time, go through growth. We have to be willing to go deep. We have to be willing to transform and heal these precious little selves, these human selves, especially those sad, lonely little parts of ourselves. So it's a twofold process. It's a moving into the light, the revolution that is happening right now on the planet for all of us. We're being downloaded with more light. We're being called to expand and be in that luminosity. And it's also a dissolution, a falling away for what no longer serves. And that requires that we do our own, as we all know. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm just here to remind us all of what we all already know, right? Because we need to keep hearing it. So to clear away that which may stand in the way. So we're strong. We're strong in our souls. We have the vibration ability to hold ourselves as the light that we're born to be. Carol gave me a beautiful card the other day, and it's an Emerson quote, and it says, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are small matters compared to what lies within us." Small compared to that which lies within us. We are so strong. We are so powerful. We are so filled with light and wisdom and joy and peace. And we just continue to have to get out of our own way, right? To let that light shine. So we use our creative ability. How do we claim that spiritual audacity, right? We co-create with spirit. Spirit's invisible within us, around us, infinite light. So it can make synchronicities happen. It can hook us up with the people, places, resources, and things that we need. It can work magic. It can create miracles. It's in the realm of possibilities, infinite possibilities. We as human beings have to move our feet. We say in Science of Mind, treat and move your feet. Quakers say, pray and make the way. Like that one, huh? We pray and make the way. We don't just sit back and say, Spirit, bring me the love of my life. Spirit, well, we say that, but we don't just say that. Bring me infinite abundance. Bring me joy. Bring peace to this planet. Let my light shine. We have to, our movements, we have to do our part here on earth. We have to move our feet. We have to listen to what we're called to do and have the courage to do that. There's power to our creative ability. And when we really speak what we want from our sense of our, deep in our hearts, when we embody those truths, if I want peace, I have to be that peace. And so I noticed in the last couple of weeks, I'm over it all now, so I can share all with you, but I had a little thing. Ever had a little thing with a couple of little things with a couple of little people in my life? You know, we could call it conflict. That's almost feels too much, but a little like that. And that happens. Because here's what I say. Where two or more are gathered, all hell breaks loose. It's very irreverent. Why does that happen? Because we bump up against each other. Why does that happen? Because we're imperfectly and beautifully human. And because Spirit wants our highest and greatest good, and Spirit wants us to break free of the chains that bind, and the traumas and the wounds and the false beliefs and the doubts and the fears from our past, that it miraculously, this is where Spirit comes in, brings us the very person that stands before us and rattles our cage. Thank you, Spirit, for the blessing. Now, I wasn't quite so grateful. I know that's true, and I think we all know that's true, so it makes it easier. But what I noticed about myself is, I say I am peace, and I want peace. Well, what does that mean then when I am in conflict with someone? Because what I noticed for myself is how easy it is when I'm in conflict, and that feels like a strong word, disagreement, conflict, how easy it is to see them as other. And when I see them as other, I'm in separation. And that what brings me back every time, Reverend Kathy Ann Lewis from the Seattle Center has a great saying, bless them or bless it, change me. Bless them, bless it, change me. The moment I stop looking to them, what they did, how they hurt me, and I may be hurt, and you and I may get hurt, how they angered me, how the moment I can say, change me. What is this calling me to? That's when the shift happens. What particularly is it that upset me about that? Because no one's intention is to cause harm. And in the case with these people, I know that's not their intention. It wasn't my intention to cause harm. And so once I can see, okay, there's something I need to look at, a belief, hi down there, there's a belief I need to look at, I can shift that. My heart opened, and they were no longer other. And I really couldn't believe, to some degree, that I'd ever seen them as that. Because they're people who are dear in my life. So we're called to do that inner work, right? To change ourselves each time, to bring it back to. And sometimes that's difficult. I saw something about comfort zone, some kind of saying up there, I can't remember what it is, that our mind likes to be comfortable. Our being likes to be comfortable. And yet, we have to be willing. We have to be willing, I think, in our sacred audacity to take the high road. I praise, if you're in conflict or disagreement with anyone, here's another great prayer. I praise whoever it is. I raise whoever it is, or whoever they are, or whatever it is, in the name of love. I praise, I raise in the name of love. That brings me back again and again to my spiritual, divine, infinite self that knows that love is all there is, that separation is a construct of the ego, that when I'm in that, I'm in my small, constricted self. Alan Cohen talks about a storyline and a glory line. A storyline. My story with these people was the story of what they did and what they said and how they're always, or whatever it is, right? The story, or the story of our childhood, which stories need to be told. There's a certain time, though, where it's time to let it go. The glory, can we find the glory line in the storyline? The story is the information, it's the facts, it's that. The glory line is the inspiration. The glory line is the growth opportunity that lies in everything. The glory line is coming back to our spiritual audacity. I am the light of the world. They are the light of the world. I am in oneness. I am the peace. I am the wisdom. I am the joy that Spirit is. We can get out of the storyline and into the glory line every time. We're going to keep moving. And I think in order to be in this light that we're born to be in, we have to be mindful again. Does our self-talk match the life we're called to accept? How are we with ourselves? Self-judgment, Lee Harris says, self-judgment is a massive red stop sign. Self-judgment and criticism. We cannot move from that place. It's oppressive. We know how we felt as children when we felt judged or criticized. We felt shut down. Well, I'll speak for me. I felt shut down. I know how I feel in the world when I'm perceiving that I'm being judged and criticized. There's no room for growth and breath and movement. I really think one of the greatest things we can do for ourselves and for the world is to shine the light of love upon ourselves. Radical self-love, radical self-acceptance. And how we do this is we bring awareness. We bring the witness so that we can be aware of the inner critic and the judge. What are we saying to ourselves? We would never treat others and say to others often what we say to ourselves. And to make a conscious commitment to replace those critical, judgmental thoughts with loving thoughts. With coming back to, I'm a spiritual being, an innocent one. I'm born in the light of the divine. Also, our work is, do our actions validate our faith in our chosen outcome? If there's no movement, this is back to pray and make the way. If there's no movement, there's no commitment. So we got to keep showing up for ourselves, for life, even when we don't really want to, especially when we don't really want to. I saw a bumper sticker once that said, life is ruled by those who show up. Here we are. Yay for everybody who showed up on the screen today or on streaming or here in person. We have shown up for our divine appointment. We show up. And when we say I can and I will, we have to have an I am back of that. We have to absolutely know and be grounded in the truth of who we are. Because if we set an intention or we welcome in our good and we have a consciousness that can't hold it, if we have a belief in unworthiness or not good enough, or people don't show up for me, or whatever it may be, or there's, I never have enough money, whatever it, if that's the underlying platform, there's no foundation for us to spring up from that. It keeps us bound. So again, we can only become as magical and flowing in our life as our human self will allow us to be. So we keep doing our spiritual practice. We keep living in the realm of infinite possibility and miracles and light, and we have to keep doing our inner work. Personal development, whatever we want to call it, combined with our spiritual practice, brings us the freedom that we're seeking. Does that make sense? I think it was Reverend Michael Beckwith that says, the consciousness that obtains sustains. The consciousness that obtains sustains. And I was hearing a minister talk about that, and a good example of that is at one point in her life, she had, amassed quite a lot of money. She'd never really had money before. I think it was before she became a minister. Sorry, but but there's a false belief, maybe, right? Right there, right? But she suddenly, whatever business she was doing or whatever it was, I can't remember all the details, it multiplied. And she had this great home, and she had, the car, she had wealth. And she said it wasn't long before, and there's story to it all, before she lost it all. Because her consciousness, she said, couldn't hold the abundance. She had an underlying belief in lack and limitation. The consciousness that obtains sustains. So we have to keep delving in, going deeper, to uncover. And any of us who've been in the foundations class, and certainly if we've been in practitioner training, that's what it's all about. Uncovering the false beliefs and the doubts and the fears and the blocks. We're diligent in this work to take self-mastery. What do I really believe? What are the blocks that's not allowing the good to come in? To get honest and transparent with ourselves. And the beautiful thing about, one of the many beautiful things about spiritual community is we get to share. We get to get support from each other, from a minister, from a practitioner. And we tell it to get through it. Again, it's back to that story. It's not that we don't tell it, but we tell it knowing that when we tell our story and someone listens to us, it starts shifting. I was reminded of that. After 2 weeks of doing my own practice and my own work around stuff that had come up for me, I sat with someone who I trust and who I knew could hold the truth and who I knew could be honest and compassionate and not tell me what to do, or, and just in the listening of that, in being listened to, it shifted. It starts to shift. So there's that fine line between telling our story, processing through what happened, what we're feeling, and knowing when it's time to let it go. I'm sure you've all heard, the Native American ceremony, when somebody in their community had been hurt or had some heavy stuff happen. They would circle around, they would put the person in the middle, and they would circle around them. And they would say, tell us your story. Tell us your story. And the person would tell their story, and they'd listen, deeply listen. And then they would say again, the person would finish, tell me your story, tell me your story. And they held space and they listened until that person's story was done. And then the third time the person went to tell their story, they all turned around and turned their backs and said, go now and use your story to find the glory line, we could say. Go use your story for good in the world. I think in some traditions they threw them in the water or something and said, find your strength. I think that is, right? Someone's nodding. But find your strength in the story. Find the growth opportunity. Move out of the storyline. You've released it now. But it's a delicate balance all the time between being these spiritual, high, light-filled beings that is the greatest, most powerful part of ourselves, and these fragile, sometimes human beings that need to tell their story, that needs to feel their feelings. that sometimes needs to sit in the fire of pain and loneliness. Let's breathe. So we get support. And we call on divine intervention. This is sacred audacity, calling on divine intervention. You know, Carolyn May says, when you really just feel like the you-know-what has hit the fan, and you know all these principles, and you know all these teachings, but you can't feel them. You know, ever been there? Just, and then the judge can come up. That's really a crucial part. I just talked to someone who was in that. We know these spiritual principles and we know these truths, and then we're in our whatever selves we are and we can't put them into practice, and then we judge ourselves because we know better. Oh, we know these truths. That's crucial not to judge ourselves, because we can't breathe or move from a place of judgment. So notice, whoa, I'm hurting right now. I'm kind of shut down, because that's what happens. We shut down, and we shut down to the light. We shut down to the love, the wisdom of spirit. And if we can just love ourselves through that, we'll open back up. We call on divine intervention. There's a beautiful poem from Hafiz. And as most of you know, Hafiz calls God or spirit friend. This is the kind of friend you are. Without making me realize my soul's anguished history, you slip into my house at night, and while I am sleeping, you silently carry off all my suffering and sordid past in your beautiful hands. That's how much we're loved. All my suffering and sordid past in your beautiful hands. Carolyn May says, you know, when we're in that, never finish that thought, but when we're in that state, sometimes the prayer just is, hover over me, God. Hover. Make yourself known to me. We offer it up. We give it to this intelligence. We give it to this beauty and this harmony and this grace of the light within, around, through, and as us. And we trust in the power for good and the all-loving spirit. We pray. Again, Emerson says, what you contemplate, you become. What you contemplate, you become. So we keep taking back our power. I am enough. I have enough. I'm worthy. I'm perfect, whole, and complete. The light in me is greater than the darkness. And we transform through awareness. We transform through awareness, through being aware all the time. Am I in the light? Am I in expansion? Or am I in contraction? Where am I right now? Is my heart open? Or is it closed? And we notice with a sense of neutrality, no judgment, we just are aware. Because what we're aware of, we can change. And what we're aware of, what we notice, starts changing. We know this from quantum physics. When a photon or particle is looked at, it starts to change. So just being aware is enough. Now, I think one of the things that I'm sensing and hearing about and experiencing, and people are reflecting back to me, the clients I work with, is the more into the light we go, sometimes the more revealing of what's standing in the way of the light happens at the same time. So Kyle Casey gives a great description of this. He says he has a young child, I guess, and one morning his young daughter came in and she was jumping up and down all over the bed, and there was a crack in the window where the blinds or the curtains were, I guess they were drawn or down, and it was a crack. and she could see the dust and, you know, in that crack of light. And she said, wow, look at all the sparkles and, you know, all of that. So, you know, he's cool, Dad. So he said, yeah, look at all the sparkles. The fairies are here. But he said the truth is, you know, a deeper truth is the truth is the dust was everywhere. The dust particles were everywhere, but they could be seen more in the crack that was the light that was coming through the crack. That's how it is with us. As we expand, as we step into the light, as our consciousness gets bigger, we're more able to be our own witness. We're more able from this place in consciousness to look at our blocks and our doubts and our fears. Anyone experiencing this time of review? They keep saying like timelines are collapsing. Not quite sure what that means, but timelines are collapsing. So if you feel like, wow, I've been doing this work and I'm centered in spirit and I'm joyous and vibrant, but I'm also having these experiences of contraction and constriction and pain, and no, that's because as we go towards the light, more and more of us actually wants to get caught up to that light too. So I wrote, sacred audacity is awareness, and it's challenging to be aware because we all have blind spots. We have blind spots, especially to that's what's familiar. Things we've been doing, saying, thinking, and believing for decades now. So we have to be ever so patient with ourselves. It takes a while to peel it all away, for the light of awareness to make itself known. And it requires us to admit that we are participating in what's going on. We are the creator. We have to take 100% responsibility for what's ours all the time. All the time. And that doesn't mean other people don't have their stuff. We're called. That's the place of power. Because I know for me, when I'm blaming someone else, I'm in victim consciousness. And that is not a high vibration. That is not a vibration where I'm going to bring more peace, more joy, more love into the world, or experiencing more of that. When I can say, well, what about me is getting activated? What about me brought this forth? Where is the growth opportunity in this very experience? Thank you, Spirit, that the light in me can now look at some part that up to this moment had been hidden. Because one of the ways, as again, I think I already said this, Spirit helps us grow is by bringing us the people that are going to help us grow. And how wonderful it is that we get these opportunities, right? It takes humility. It really takes humility. In the Gospel of Thomas, this saying is shifted a little. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And poor in spirit is, blessed are those who are humble, who are not quite so full of themselves, right? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of, for theirs is the kingdom, I left out a piece. I left out a piece, sorry. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven, but in the Gospel of Thomas, blessed is the kingdom of heaven, and something about, and then you will be troubled. And then something about, forget it. Cross that out. I made a mistake. Whoops, I did it again, right? You know? That was a good one. It was something about will be trouble. I'm just curious now. No, I'm gonna let it go. So we don't have to look for permission. We don't have to ask. It's our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. It's Spirit's divine grace wanting to come down through us. We just keep saying yes to what is possible. We nurture the light within. We turn to prayer. Prayer is a high vibration. And the moment we go to prayer, we've moved from the realm of the physical, the probable, into the realm of infinite possibility. We're in a higher frequency. We're in a higher vibration. You know, I was listening to someone talk about who'd had some near-death experiences. Spirit like that. It's fine. Where was I? Sparks coming up from the earth. Listening to someone who'd had several near-death experiences. I'm kind of fascinated by that right now, just because they talk about the frequencies and how we can move frequencies. We can be in our physical body and we can be in our light body. And just all of that. And she, in one of her near-death experiences, she said she saw all these sparks coming up from the earth. And she didn't know what they were. And so she kind of leaned in a little closer, and you don't really ask questions in that other realm. But what she got is those are all the prayers that were being prayed, like sparks of light coming off the earth. What everybody that I've heard talk about near-death experiences reports back is that they can feel and sense and hear the prayers. You know, these people who are, you know, in a hospital and, you know, being operated on, and they've left their bodies, they can feel everybody praying. That's the power of prayer that lifts us, that guides us, that raises our frequency, that helps us change our channel, right? Because it's just like a radio. We're not going to get classical music if we're tuned into country. It's just not going to happen. Classical is still happening, but we're tuned in to something else. So we tune in to that higher frequency, and one of the ways we can do that is through prayer. One of the ways we can do that, there are many ways, chanting, you know, yoga, breathing, but prayer, very powerful. And when we change our channel, we don't only see what's going on in the physical. We don't only see what's probable and what the statistics have said or what we've been limited by in the past. We're in infinite possibility when we change that channel. There's a song, I've been sharing this with everybody recently, that a guy called MC Yogi. And he has this song, "Heaven is here when the mind is clear." Take that. Heaven is here when the mind is clear, when we're out of the way, when we're in that prayer. So we can move out of this particle state, this human state, into our quantum selves. That's sacred audacity. I'm not just this body. I'm not just these thoughts. I'm not just these feelings. I need to honor this body. I need to honor these feelings. I need to honor these thoughts. I don't bypass them. We are the link between heaven and earth. And yet we don't buy into any of that as the only truth or the greater truth. But the human has to come along for the journey in our spiritual awareness, in our spiritual journey. It has to. So we breathe, breath. They're all saying it now. I've been saying it for decades, really. Breath is so important. Breathing, different breathing techniques, just taking 3 deep breaths, because we hold stuff in our body and in our being, and we hold our breath. Breath, you know, comes from, you know, spiritos, inspiration. Breathe. And we listen to that still small voice. We are nothing more empowering right now or important right now than for us to trust our own inner selves. Listen deeply. Spirit within will lead and guide. And notice synchronicities that show up. Because as Carl Jung said, synchronicities are the way the divine speaks to us. So I'm going to end with just a prayer, and I'm going to end with saying that there's a beautiful Pali word, and Pali is the original language that the Buddhist texts were written in, and it's Teja, T-E-J-A, and it means bright, it means light, it means luminosity, it means splendor. It means beauty. It means just aliveness. Teja. That's who we are. And that light within us can never be extinguished. If left unnurtured or uncared for, it will lie quietly and sort of in the background. And if we nurture it, if we spend time with it, if we keep remembering the Teja that we are, that light being within us, we nurture it, it will become alive and vibrant, and it can start running the show. It can be in the driver's seat in our life, and all those other parts of us can come along. We don't leave them. We're not leaving the human, but they never get to be in the driver's seat. Come along, scared, lonely little girl, in the back seat or in the driver's seat next to me. Come along, angry, vigilant, rebellious one. You're welcome, but you're not going to drive the bus, because the luminosity and grace of spirit and the power of the divine within my being and body is running the show now. That's what we keep coming back to. So let us pray. Let us take a deep, full, cleansing breath together. And let's take another one. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just check in. How are you doing? How's the body on the chair? How's the feeling in the heart? Where are you feeling the light within you? Can you feel the oneness in the room? We're all in this together. Can you feel the love, the unity, the beauty of this sacred space? Let's feel into it. And know that we breathe in the one breath of the one life, of the one power, of the one presence. The infinite divine I am. The all that is, the all that ever was, and the all that ever will be. The greatest power, the most beautiful light, shining forth as all of creation. In the moon that glows, in the stars that shine, in the warmth of the sun, in the beauty of nature, and in all sentient beings. There it is, the Teja, the aliveness, the luminosity of spirit itself, shining forth as me and shining forth in each and every one of us. We are the light of the world. That is true. We are born of spirit. There is no power within us greater than this power. So yes, we stand with sacred spiritual audacity, daring to say, here I am that I am. I am infinite wisdom, I am divine light, I am freedom, I am abundance, I am peace, I am joy, I am compassion. And as that light shines radiantly and burns within every cell of our being, the veils of illusion are lifted magically, because the power of the light is greater than the appearance of darkness, because the expansion of spirit is far more powerful than any constriction or contraction going on. And so we breathe in knowing we're breathing in the very breath of God. We are gentle, we are kind, we are compassionate with ourselves and with each other on this journey. We walk with curiosity and awareness. We have become the witness, noticing without judgment what's rising in us, where our fears are, where our doubts are. We do our own inner work, and we pray, and we chant, and we sing, and we come to spiritual centers, and we breathe, and we do sound healing, and we do all and everything that continues to lift us into the luminosity of the light that we are born to be. Thank you, Spirit, for the luminous warriors that we are. Thank you for this mighty and magnificent personal and collective transformation and shifting that is happening on our earth plane right now. We know there are things within us and within the systems of our world and our planet that need to be dissolving, that need to be shifting. Thank you, even though it may feel wavy and dizzying and challenging right now. Thank you, Spirit, because I know we are the center of divine operation. I know this is all the journey into the luminosity of Spirit that each of us is born to be, all beings on this planet, including Mother Earth herself. And how grateful I am for the power and truth of these words I speak, for the sparks in the earth that are flaming up as I pray, as we pray together. I release my word. I set that law of attraction into motion, that divine feminine herself, who nourishes and nurtures these words that I have spoken, who agrees with them wholeheartedly, and in her own infinite wisdom gives birth to them at the perfect right time and in the perfect right way. May there be peace in my heart. May there be peace on this earth. May all beings feel that peace. May we rise up and rise strong and be the luminous warriors we're born to be. And so it is. So it is. Amen.
Well, please join me with another round of appreciation for Reverend Angela. That was wonderful. So powerful. And now it's my pleasure to welcome back Lucille Park. So please join me in welcoming her back.
Well, thank you. Okay. For a miracle, I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. The sky is the limit to what I can have. The sky is the limit to what I can have. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. I expect a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. I expect a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. Yes, I expect a miracle every day. I will make a way out of no way. If I believe and receive it, That's right. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. I'm looking for a miracle. I expect the impossible. I feel the intangible. I see the invisible. The sky is the limit to what I can have. The sky is the limit to what I can have. It's true, isn't it? If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. Hey, hey, if I believe and receive it, I can have it today. If I believe and receive it, I can have it today. All right.
Lucille, that
You
was
betcha.
wonderful. Thank you
right.
so much.
Yeah.
Well, friends, we are now at the time in our service for our time of giving and receiving. So I want to invite you, there should be an envelope near your chair, either on it or in front of it. And in their envelope is a card. We invite you to write down any prayer requests that you have, anything that's weighing on you, anything you'd like support with. And our ministers and practitioners will pray on that during the week. I also want to let you know that our practitioner in service today, Sylvia, is available after service for prayer. And if you have any offerings today, if it's cash, please just write your name on the envelope because we'd love to be able to thank you appropriately for that. And there, you may also give using Venmo, and that information is on the website, if nowhere else, okay? So, let's see. We're going to make a few short announcements while folks are getting their prayer requests in order. And let's just start with today. There is from 2 to 4 p.m. a sound healing breathwork and sound journey program that Reverend Angela and Terry Wilder are going to be running. So please return for that. Coming up on Tuesday is an Empower Thyself program from 6:30 to 9. There's some flyers on the back table about that program. That's a co-creative peer growth group. There is Reverend Geary has a workshop next June, and I think he's got a couple things he'd like to share with us about that.
He does. Thank you so much. Great talk, Reverend Angela. Thank you so much. Great song, Lucille. Love that song. Yes, but. Yes, but. We're talking this month about sacred audacity and holy boldness. And so we get that. We get that tap. We get that, you really want to do that. And we say yes. But then do we give our intention away? Do we give our wish away? Do we share it with somebody and they love us and they care about us and they say, that's a great idea, but you're too, or you're not, and then we put it back on the shelf. So I'll be sharing ideas next Sunday on the topic, who do we give our wish to? Do we give it to the universe, or do we give it away to somebody else? Maybe our intention, our wish, our heart's desire, our I just really want to do that has to do with money. What do we believe about money? Is it the agony and the ecstasy? Is it Gone with the Wind? Is it to have and have not? Or is it It's a Wonderful Life. What do we believe about money? After the service next Sunday, we're going to look at this topic that we don't always look at and kind of get some ideas and decide what's really true for us and what's not. So next Sunday, 10 o'clock for the service, 11:15 or so for the workshop in this very room. Thank you so much.
All right, well, be there or be square. All right, let's see. We have just a couple more. Oh, here's Reverend Suzette joining us. Thank you.
Can you hear me, Natasha?
Yes? Yes. We can hear you.
Hey, I just want to say, Angela, that's one of the best talks you have ever given us. Yes. Really amazing. I'm very proud of you and so glad that you could be here. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so just to finish up with our announcements, we have coming up after Jerry's workshop on the 14th is the What's in a Name drawing workshop with Lee Anna Yater. We have, and then some of our weekly programs, just to mention them quickly, our Al-Anon meeting for parents, Wednesdays at 6:30, Friday weekly book study at 10 a.m. They're starting up, I believe, possibly next Friday, is a Divine Spirit Sound Bowl meditation from 7 to 9 p.m. And the last thing is our practitioner, Candace, is hosting a philosophy Zoom group, which meets, she lives in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, so it's at 7 a.m. our time. It's a global group, but it's really cool. So please join us in these programs. And yes, Emma? Thank you, Emma, for that very important reminder. It's the first Sunday in June, so we want to honor and recognize all of our June birthdays, including our beloved practitioner, Jody, who is joining us online. Any other June birthdays in here? Well, join me in singing happy birthday to Jody really quickly. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Jody and everybody.
Happy birthday to you. Let me invite everyone to put their offering or their prayer request on their heart. And we're just going to take this moment to recognize the presence of Spirit, always exactly where we are. And in that recognition is the understanding that the divine is the abundant flow of good of every kind. And that flow is a flow in which we live. And we live in that intake and outtake. We live in that process of giving and receiving. For the more that we give, the more that we receive. So we simply recognize the abundance in our lives. We recognize the power of prayer, pressed down and multiplied, that every gift, every good intention, every loving belief is now multiplied and spills out into the world. We give thanks for all of this good. We know that it ripples and enriches our community and ripples and flows throughout ourselves and our community into the world. For these blessings, we are so grateful. We give thanks and we say, and so it is. As our program comes to a close this morning, I want to invite you to stand up and join us as we do our Om affirmation.
And can I just say, I'd love to see you all. That breath work and sound healing is a really powerful opportunity to move through stuff and be catapulted into spirit. It's at 2 o'clock here with me facilitating and Terry Wilder, who plays the gongs and sound healing, and we have a few people, well, Carol, I know you've been to several. It's very powerful. So think about coming. I'd love to see you there. Sorry.
No, not at all. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, please join me. I am an expression of God, born into the richness and abundance of the indwelling presence. Today, I walk upon my world, consciously creating oneness within and around me. And so it is.
Okay.
All right, and join me in singing the peace song.
Okay. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our word. Loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment